The biggest paradox of the current Russia-Britain state of affairs is the political relations are at their worst since the end of the Cold War, but British investors are heading to Russia in ever greater numbers.
Money makes the world go round, the world go round, the world go round. Money makes the world go round, it makes the world go round.
In 2006, Britain became the largest foreign investor into the Russian economy. A year on, in 2007, it still topped the league, bluffing in over $26 billion.
I think investors, including British investors, look very closely at the Russian economy and its outstanding performance in recent years. They like the GDP numbers, they like the macroeconomic stability, they like the government's macroeconomic policies. They look at that, they look at the numbers, and they invest.
Even the tit-for-tat diplomatic expulsions of 2007 didn't deter anyone. Trade is growing at a rate of 25% a year, and over 400 UK companies now operate in Russia. The whole family of Jay Hambro is involved in Russia. His father made a fortune in mining. Jay himself is heading a Russian iron ore company, and his brother a timber one, and business is booming.
Best example of that is if you try and take a London-Moscow flight. You know, every flight is chocker, and most of the seats are taken by people in suits, which means there is a huge growth of business between the two.
In 2007, UK exports to Russia reached an all-time high of more than $5.5 billion, an increase of 36% on the figures recorded for 2006, making Russia the UK's 16th largest export market, and any problems seem minor compared to the revenues. Analysts have identified the most promising areas for long-term activity in Russia: aerospace, airports, financial services, engineering, power, and of course oil and gas. Many agree that politicians on both sides aren't exactly helping the cause, but there is hope for a warmer political climate.
If the present level of British investment in Russia and British trade with Russia continues to grow and grow, I think it's bound to have a positive effect on the relationship between the two countries, just as Western investment in China has done. Also, I hope that more and more British people will go to live in Russia and frankly discover that the Russians are not carnivorous vampire bears and so forth. But it could take some considerable time.
The British government organisation UK Trade and Investment says that Russia remains a long-term market of great potential for British exporters and investors. And now that the political climate can't get much colder than it has been in the past year, business people just hope that politicians won't spoil things for them in 2008. Daria Pushkova, Russia Today.